Hello and welcome to Scrapping on the Fly. My name is Kristen and I am here with day 26 of 30 Days of Sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life. And this is the 9th round. The sketch that we used is this neat sketch from Sara Scraps, who you can find I almost said the extension. You can find her channel down below in the description box. Wow. So there is the sketch. It's got a couple of pictures, some embellishments, and these are the pictures I want to use. Ooh, that is shiny glary. These are from the graduation scavenger hunt that I've already documented once during this 30 Days of Sketches. And this is the paper pad I want to use. It is from Recollections, and it's made, I guess, for memory explosion boxes. And I did some pre-work on my Cricut because that was today's prompt from Dottie About Flair, is to use punches or dies. So I die cut these balloons and these two Polaroid frames that have balloons on them. And I'm going to pull out a white page, so you can see them a little bit better. And that blue is shiny, shiny. And there are my balloons. And I cut all of this out from that Recollections paper pad. And they are super fun. And I enjoyed working with them. And then I also cut out this stencil. And decided that was what I was going to do. It's balloons. And I'm going to use this Close to My Heart ink pads in Star Spangled Blue and Clover Meadow. And then these are my Dottie About Flair, and these are epoxies, so they are a little bit more flat than the Flair. I plan on bringing at least one of those in there. And this piece of scrap paper. So, and there is that paper pad again. So I've got all my papers and inks, these really cute pictures, and this sketch by Sara Scraps. So let's see how this goes. So I knew I wanted to use this yellow. Yellow is the one color that coordinates between my daughter's high school and my niece's high school. One was blue and yellow and the other was green and yellow. So I used a lot of yellow in there documenting, just because it was something that worked for both kids at school. And so I used this blue, and then this patterned paper was like stripes, big wide stripes. So I got those pictures into the frames. I didn't show you much of that. And then I used this stencil that I created, and I'm going to show you a little bit more of this than I normally do. I'm going to tack it down with some washi so that it doesn't move. And I've just put it on the edge. Now in the sketch, there is like a floral piece about halfway down on the right side. And instead of doing that, since I'm celebrating, and in one of the pictures, the girls have balloons, I have decided to use balloons as my motif. Now, I was super excited with how this turned out. The only downside is I turn my yellow paper completely around when I do the other side, and I did not take into account that the balloons are floating upside down now, which is interesting. So I think I make it work, but when I flipped it back around and realized what I'd done, I was like, oh my gosh. So what I did was I wasn't necessarily paying attention to, like, there's little bits of like confetti and then a long string from the balloons. I wasn't keeping like the balloon one color, the string one color, the confetti. I just did blue, then green, the blue, then green around the bit. So you're going to see what it looks like. And I really love the way that turned out. So see, I just totally turned that around. Now, I should have turned the whole thing around to meet it, and then it would have been fine. But no, why would we do something that makes sense? So I really want this to kind of make like a scallop on the other side. So there it is. See, my balloons are upside down. Yeah. So I sit and stare at those and try and decide if there's something I'm going to do. And then I realize once I start putting these pictures on here, those are going to be covered up. Not completely. I mean, there's still that part where it meets in the middle, But, you know, it is what it is. I was not redoing it all, and I'm fine with it. I am a bit on the upside down, so, you know, it's fine. So I have 2 of these balloons, and I'm thinking, like in the sketch, there is a cluster of things down the right side of the pictures. And there's also like a L shape of dimension in the sketch where the bottom and the right side has like a layer. And I was going to use this paper that says best yay ever to do that, but it wasn't going to work the way I wanted it to. So instead of having it on the side and the bottom, I just do it down the side, and it reads on the side. And I do one in blue, and like I said, it says best yay ever, and I tear it. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the other one in green, because if I did it in blue, the blue frame and the blue paper would have been the same color. So I was going to get my tumbled glass and decided, why, I've already used an ink, why not use the same ink? That makes more sense. So I just ink the side of the picture. The one that's blue, I ink with the blue, and then the one that is green, I ink with, or the one that's multicolored, I ink with green. So I actually cut this apart because I wanted the balloons more on the right side so they would be seen on the side of the picture, because the way that they were, more than, I think at least 2 and more than a half of a balloon were completely covered. So I just want to make sure this is going to work. And so I start to tape it down, and then I realize that if I put this down without looking at how far away it is, I'm going to have a problem. So I also need to get the balloons taped down because they're going underneath. So let me say, I am in, first of all, the lighting is messed up because I did not have my bright lighting on the left side, which helps get rid of the lovely big head you see. And the other thing is, I'm in a Zoom with my friends, and I've never done this before. So I wasn't sure if this was going to work. I figured if it didn't, I'd just redo another sketch with the same, or another layout with the same sketch, and it would be fine. So if it's a little crazy, or you see my head bobbing, or my hands going cuckoo, it's because I'm in a Zoomie with my lovely friends from Scrapbooking with AnnMarie.com. And it is an amazing group of awesome ladies. Not that that's all that are welcome, but that's just, as of right now, the ones who join in on our Zoom calls. And we just scrap together and are, we have become very good friends. So anyway, that is why you see my head moving around. My hands are going sometimes. And so I get these lined up, and I love the way the balloons look. I could have inked them, but I just really, that light yellow, everything stands out enough. I didn't want the balloons necessarily to be in your face. The inking is pretty bold, and I am going to bring in a couple sets of balloons that are also bold, and I really didn't want anything else to be a dark color. So I believe what I'm doing right now, I can't see the bottom of the screen. Yes. So this is part of a cut apart. I originally pulled that tag that you see right there on the left, says celebrate, and it just wasn't going to work. It's too wide, and the coloring is wrong because I'm really more accentuating the blue, yellow, and green. And this is just super pastel and doesn't have a lot of the blue, yellow, or green. So I went ahead and I cut this yay out, and then I fussy cut loosely. I wanted the white around the outside of it, but I fussy cut that the yay out. So I got that. I think it's tacked down. I'm not sure. But I get these 2 balloons, and they are like a bright blue and a bright yellow. And I want to put those down, but you can see through them, the yellow especially. So I put them down on that paper that I made the balloons out of, and I fussy cut around them so that you really can't see the paper they're on. Just predominantly, you can't see through the sticker. So I don't know why I didn't cut out all the fussy cutting, because I normally don't make you all see that. But then I fight with where it goes. Like, my original thought was I wanted it to be right there in the middle where the 2 sets of inked balloons meet, but right next to where it says yay. And then I thought, oh no, wait, let's put this epoxy there. And then I try it here, and I kind of like it here, but it's just not working for me. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. And I fiddle with this. I put it over in the cluster of balloons. I put it, I think at some point I even put it in right where I'm tapping right now. It was not working as well as I wanted to. I don't know why it was so complicated. Maybe because I was distracted with the conversation I was in. Maybe, I don't know. I honestly have no clue. So I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do. I'm thinking I'll cluster the balloons with the epoxy like I have them in my finger right there. See, I must be talking. Sorry, guys. So then I'm thinking, I'll have them go like this and put the epoxy down. That'll be cute. But then I want that epoxy kind of in the middle, and then it just doesn't look right. So I really do fiddle with this for a long time, and probably could have cut quite a bit of this part out, but sometimes the process is what I'm interested in just as much as the layout itself, because, sometimes seeing how people think when they're creating is interesting, because then you're like, oh, I never thought about that, or I'm glad to know that I'm not the only one who moves a set of stickers or embellishments around 87 places, and sometimes I end up right back where I first start, because sometimes your first instincts are right. So don't ask me why I just switched those out. They are the exact same thing, in the same direction, in this everything. So anywho, this is the general idea, I believe, of where I end up with this layout. I made the mistake of, no, there it is. That's the way this ends up. I made the mistake of sitting down to record and not bringing the layout with me. I literally just did this, but when I finished with my layout, and then I finished with my Zoom call, I was headed out to go, one of the students at my school was in a play tonight, and so I went to go see her, and I just got home. So I had cleaned up before I left and put my layout to the side to dry. I was trying to remember if I put ink on my layout. That's where I'm at, guys. So anyway, so I get those down, and then I cover the bottom so that I can get the Black Marble Delusions, Ranger Delusions shimmer spray. And I don't want a lot. I don't want to take away from all the other stuff. I don't want it all over the place, but I just want it down here in the bottom left and the bottom right. And I am thrilled with the way it looks. It may not be the best layout I have ever created, or something I'll send home, be like showing off to the world, but I do like the way that it ended up. And I pulled some epoxy, enamel dots, enamel dots from the Paper Studio. So now here is the close-up of the sketch again. And like I said, this is by Sara Scraps, and her YouTube link is below, or her Instagram, whichever one she may have. I think she has both. But they'll be linked below. Please go down there and check all of them out. There are so many people following along, and there are some really amazing people in this hop. So I hope you all enjoyed this a little crazy cuckoo sketch and layout. And I hope that you all will come back tomorrow and catch me on day 27 for the next sketch. I'm looking forward to it, and I hope you all have a great night. And I also hope that you all get a chance today to do something you love with someone you love. Happy scrapping!